Welcome to Six Figure Trucker, the podcast where we share advice on how to be successful in trucking and have fun while doing so. We'll share stories, news, and advice on how to earn six figures in trucking, and we'll speak to guys and gals that are already doing so. Let's get to the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. And you know, if you join us each and every Thursday, this is a time and a space where we elevate and celebrate the drivers of our company. We feel that is important because of what they have done to make us the company that we are. Now, we are pleased to announce we're taking the Six Figure Trucker to a new format. That would be video. We're counting down the weeks, even days, to our launch. Don't worry, you'll still be able to listen, but we want to explore the venue of seeing the drivers, and we believe this step will honor the drivers even more and make them more memorable with this intimate approach. It's coming, and you can check it out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, or simply Google the show, Six Figure Trucker. Of course, remember to spell out the six. Now, speaking of spelling it out, we're revisiting the inspiration of driver Leopold Ruddock. We've named him Leo the Lion. That's because his heart and drive, no pun intended, of a lion. This week, Leo reveals what or who, more precisely, led him to America from his native Jamaica. Now, this driven driver is approaching 37 years in the trucking business, and it's a craft he continues to hone daily. We're bringing his story back to you in part two because it and Leo are worth it. Enjoy.
Now, last week we heard from Leopold Ruddock, who is a Jamaican native. That included talking about his time as a youth, the record-setting track athlete in college, and he also worked for the airport authority as a fire truck driver and later an instructor and in administration with the airport authority for a number of years. Leopold joins us now. Leopold, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, we touched last week on many things about your time in Jamaica, and we wanted to kind of shift gears, if you will. What led you to America?
Well, it was a woman.
There you go.
Plain and straight, it was a woman. That's what it was, But, it was a woman that I wanted, and I didn't want another woman. I wanted that woman, and that's what brought me here. I had everything going for me there, but I just didn't have that woman.
I got you. Now, women can make you do some adventurous things.
Oh yeah. There's a lot that we started with, because it started in my, when I met her, I think I was about 22. She was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. We're pretty young, and you find someone that you wanted to be with for the rest of your life. Today, we are still together.
That's amazing. Congratulations for that, Leopold. Mm-hmm. So you guys met. This is your wife. You met in Jamaica.
Yes. And it was strange that it was her brother. I used to coach a soccer team. Her brother was an executive part of the body of the club. And he said to me one day, I wanted to meet my sister. And it's strange because you don't find friends want to introduce their sister to their friend.
Right.
That's kind of strange, Mm-hmm. But he said to me, he wants me to meet his sister.
Okay.
So I said, okay. So they said the father was going away back to England the next day. So I said, can you come by the house tomorrow at noon so you can meet my sister? And that's how I met the sister. We have been friends from that time. That's when I met the sister.
That's cool.
Yeah, just like that. you know. So that's how I started out that. And, you know, she has always been a very progressive person, moving ahead, moving along, you know. She was very high in education, you know, what I mean? She was very stern in education. And she really used that and build our kids, you know.
Okay.
So that helps a whole lot, you know, building our kids. So, you know, we got 4 kids in all, and basically they all finished college. They all are flying right now. They're just moving ahead.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you met your wife in 1977, and she had the opportunity to come to the United States.
Yes, she did.
So you arrive in the States, and you've got to find some employment. And, of course, you had the background. If you listened to the Six Figure Trucker brought to you by Norton Transport last week, you spent a lot of time in the firefighting career that you had, working with the Airport Authority and the Maritime Institution where you taught firefighting. But that didn't necessarily translate for a profession in America. Tell us about that.
Well, that's true, because when I got my license and I applied for jobs up in Boston to drive tractor trailer, especially with the union companies, they basically said that they don't think I will be driving tractor trailer because of my qualification. They said they don't see me driving truck. They don't see me becoming a truck driver. And that was 36 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't the case. They were wrong. They were wrong.
Yeah, because you see, my uncle used to drive. My uncle have a lot of trucks in Jamaica, tractor trailer in Jamaica. So, you know, that was another, you know, incentive also, because of my uncle that had tractor trailer in Jamaica, you know. So when I come here, I just decided I'm not going to go back into that field, because not of the fact that it is challenging. It's pretty good. I can do it, you know. I can master it. But I got to master something else too, you know. You see what I mean? I can fly, you know, but I don't want to fly, you know. So I say, you know, let me drive tractor trailer. Let me venture into this avenue. So a friend of mine, when I got my license, a friend of mine say, "Oh, Leo, I know a good company that you can work for." So I went and applied to the company, and they called me. That company was called Clark and Reed Executive Moving Company. That was the number 1 moving company in the United States. They just basically move top executives.
I got you.
You know, and that's what they did. They don't move anybody else, just top executive. They give all the other jobs to the other moving companies. And I did excel in Clark and Reed, because I excelled to the top as the number 1 mover in that company.
Now,
you know,
speaking of excelling, this is something that's not uncommon for you. You're listening to Leopold Ruddock here on the Six Figure Trucker brought to you by Norton Transport. He is a man who has excelled in many things, including back in Jamaica, his home country, as a fire instructor, fire truck driver, also track star at St. Mary's College in Jamaica. And you were telling us in your first driving job with a good company, you excelled there. But I wanted to back up just a little bit to your training that you had in school, the New England Tractor Trailer School. Tell us about that. There's quite a story there.
Oh, you mean when I got my license?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 'Cause what happened was that when I went to the school, when I came to America, I just decided that I'm going to drive tractor trailer. And I decided I'm going to go to school. And I went to school, and it's supposed to be 8 weeks training, which I did the complete 8 weeks training in the winter time. Coming from Jamaica and up there in the winter was not a nice thing either.
No.
Wasn't a nice thing. As a matter of fact, I got so mad one of the time. I told my wife I'm going back to Jamaica because I didn't have a car, and I had to take a bus, you know. And what happened was that I said, I'm not taking any bus. I'm going back home. Because I got frostbitten because there was a winter storm there. And then I told him I'm going back home. And when I went home, Oh, behold, there was a car there waiting for me. My wife went and got a car. She paid $35 for the car.
Oh, my. Wow, that's a bargain.
From the police auction.
She knew how to be resourceful and find what you needed.
Yeah, for the police auction, because at the police auction, all they wanted was the insurance money. All they wanted was the taxes. Anyway, I got that and went to school. And there was one time when I would not get, when you're doing the practical, there are 4 person to a truck. And I couldn't get a truck to drive. So I made a complaint to the office about the fact that I'm not getting enough driving time with the truck for the training. So he designated 1 truck for 4 of us. And we got that truck and we kept that truck for the whole time.
That's good.
And that helped me a whole lot, because they did look out for me. It's true. When I come to America, a lot of people look out for me. That's
cool. We hope that we're doing the same for you here at Norton Transport. And you were sharing with me earlier about your time at the New England Tractor Trailer School in Boston. There were 28 people in that class. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. We had 28. We had 28 total for the day class and the night and the evening class. 18 was for the day class and 10 for the day class, for the night evening class. And then we went and did our practical. The examiner tell us point blank, I'm telling you what we're going to be doing twice, and that's it. And he's not going to go over it again. I said I was the last person to be tested on the practical. So when it was my time, it was in the evening, about 4:00, and I went on the road. It was icy. I got stuck in the ice. I got it out, and I went back to the yard. On the way back to the yard, before I got in, he said to me, he's not giving no one any license who cannot drive. So I didn't pay him no mind at all, So he reminded me of this show I watch with this Irish man with this small eyeglass on his face. It looked like a nerd.
I gotcha. That was.
So we went back to the yard. And he said, come with me. So he came with me, and then he said, stay right here. And then he went through some process, and they gave him my license. And then that was when I realized that it's only 2 of us that passed out of the entire 28 students, And I didn't know all this was happening.
That's a tough class, man.
Everybody was looking at me. It's like, why are they looking at me? Because I didn't even know that all those guys failed.
Wow.
I didn't know they failed. I didn't know that all. I didn't know at all. I was the only one from my class, from the 18 of us that got it, And from the other 10, there was only one other guy that passed. There's only 2 of us that passed in the entire. But I came first in the class in a way. So in the practical, in the theory, So that was good again,
Oh, absolutely. You're listening to Leopold Ruddock here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Leopold sharing many of his stories behind the wheel, and last week he shared many of his stories growing up in Jamaica and his successes that he had there. He's continuing to have those successes here in the States. Now, from that time, 1988, when you were one of only 2 out of 28 candidates to get your license out of the New England Tractor Trailer School. What's it been like in your 36 years driving since that time?
When I started with the Clark and Reed Executive Moving Services, I started at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 years after I started, I became a lead driver. So a lead driver now, because you start from what is called number 4 to a number 3 driver to a number 2 driver. Then in those 4, 3, and 2, you have different stages, A, B, and C, A, B, and C. And then when I became as a number 1 driver, you start with it as a 1C, and then you go to a B and an A. Well, I've been through all the stages in the company, all the stages, all the way up to a 1A. And that's when I was nominated the number one driver in the company. And when you are nominated as when you are number 1 driver at the company, then you are basically number 1 in the entire United States.
That's awesome, man. And
then now, when I resigned because I needed some more adventure. I needed to know more. So I did tell them that I'm going to be at the time they didn't have owner operator, just company drivers. So I said I'll be leaving because I want to be an owner operator. I want to experience more in the moving industry in terms of that, and just be a company driver. So I left, and then I went to Allied, and I started as a top 20 driver because I'm coming from Clark and Reed. So, they started me at top 20% in the United States. So I worked my way up into the master movership. So most of the jobs I was doing, all the jobs I was doing were just for master movers. So when I come into town, no matter who is there are 50 trucks there, I slide all the way up to number 1. So I got my load ready for me when I'm moving up and down. So that's how I used to move back then. Then I was nominated 3 times for Allied as the number 1 mover in the United States.
Wow.
I was nominated 3 times. But something happened. Somebody tried to get me out. And, people play a game, they try to get me out. So I fall to that trap and I resign. Clark and Reed called me back. Clark and Reed asked me to come back because they saw that I was nominated number 1 in the United States. And they asked me to come back as their first contractor. Now, Clark and Reed has been around for 100 years. Clark and Reed Moving Services has been around for 100 years, and they asked me to come back to be their first contractor.
That's impressive. You've had an impressive record on and off the road. You've been driving for 36 years. You're listening to Leopold Ruddock, who is a Class A driver here for us at Norton Transport. He has all of his endorsements. And I wanted to ask you, Leopold, can I call you Leo?
Yes.
Now, Leo, I just wanted to ask you, in that 36 years, you're laying out some great stories, and you obviously been at the top of your profession with more than one company, and we are very pleased to have you here at Norton Transport. What would your advice be to other drivers to be at that top level? I mean, what do you have to be that type of driver? One of the most important things that you have to do as a human being, we must understand that we are all a commodity. We are all a commodity, just like the apple, just like the fruit, just like the vegetables. So if the vegetable is not good, you won't eat it. If the fruit is not good, you're not going to eat it, just like anything else. Mm-hmm. So as a commodity, if you place yourself in that category, then all you have to be is consistent in what you're doing. That is some incredible advice from Leopold Ruddock there, being consistent in what you're doing. And Leo, I didn't want to cut you off there. You were about to say something else.
Yeah, when you are like that, then you always have the tendency of basically you're not going to fail because it's automatic. If you close your eyes are still open. It may sound strange, but yes. If you close your eyes are still open because of your consistency.
That is some incredible advice.
Yeah, that is how the body works, Mm-hmm. And along with your consistency, you got to remember, you got to respect. You got to show respect. You got to respect each and everything that you do, each and every one that you meet. You have to show your respect. And the next thing about it is that if you sweep the floor, one day you can own the broom.
Wow. I'm loving getting deep here with Leopold Ruddock. If you sweep the floor, one day you'll own the broom.
Yes, and you got to think about these things. You can own the broom in many respects, because there are many parts of the broom that you can own. You don't have to own the whole thing. You can just own the stick. But whatever you do, right? Just be consistent in what you do. So it's the only way you can gain the knowledge of what is in front of you.
Leopold Ruddock here on the Six Figure Trucker, brought to you by Norton Transport. Leopold, we just want to reach out and say thank you very much for being one of our top drivers and for being such an inspiration to other drivers and for all the advice you've given us on this program. Anything you want to say to close this out, Leopold?
No, nothing in particular. There's so many things that can be said. I really don't know what else to say right now in terms of that. But I will also say that I find this company, Norton Transport, to be a very interesting company. And I didn't know that there was a company like this that exists. So I'm still in the learning process in terms of company like this, like Norton Transportation. But I find it very interesting. I love it. It is intriguing. It's challenging, and which is good. And I like the challenge because it keeps you abreast. And Norton is not going to babysit you, which is good because it teaches you to be a better man or a woman.
All right, Leopold Ruddock right there with some great advice again. Leopold, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe as you set out on your next runs. I know you're looking at the load board, getting ready to hit the road again.
Yes, that's what I'm doing right now.
All right. Leopold, thank you so much.
All right, John, thank you.
Six Figure Trucker is brought to you by Norton Transport. Norton Transport is a drive-away trucking company that customers can rely on. It offers excellent independent contract driving opportunities to professional, courteous, and qualified drivers that can provide the kind of service we deliver. If you're interested in learning more about Norton or just want to subscribe to the show, check out 6-figuretrucker.com. That's 6-figuretrucker.com.